right. A lot of you are probably saying right now, it's like, I don't need to worry about Dark Dimension 5 because I'm never going to get there. And I'm going to promise you this. If you do not plan for DD5, it is not going to just happen accidentally. Do you agree, Dr. Reminix?
I definitely think that it's something where the resources are really restrictive right now.
Yeah, like if you didn't plan for DD4, it just doesn't happen organically. You have to be very deliberate about your planning. Now, we're going to go over two different tools that make it easier. We're using MSF.gg, and then also in the link in the description, there will be to this spreadsheet, and you prefer the spreadsheet over MSF.gg, right?
I just like the visualization. I mean, I did have a hand in helping, Rondius and Bacon and a couple other collaborators, create it. So I do like it because it kind of gives you a shopping list. You input the data and it lets you see kind of where you've made mistakes. It's very visible if you've doubled up on something, or you can see that those, the equality of those graphs there. If you've overvalued like Mystic, you'll know right away, and then you can make some adjustments on it.
Okay, and the other place that you can use as an excellent resource, and you have some reservations about this, but you can go in game and see what people use to beat the nodes. What are your thoughts about that?
So you have to understand these are Krakens, guys. The people that are already like going through this, you have to imagine they have unlimited resources. They're going to bring characters that maybe aren't ideal for their roster, or or are going to maybe be triple up on alien spores, because after their second run, they're going to be able to bring potentially 3 symbiotes through, and so. I don't think we have that luxury. I think we want to go and go with a budget in mind, but use the characters that we're using every day, and be careful not to get those double up on those G16s.
Right. And then the second thing that I want to talk about is there's certain pieces that are not available in the raid orbs, right? Mm-hmm. And those what we're gonna call, we don't know what to call them. They call them the teal mini uniques, but they look like the 14s, right?
Right.
So the 14s, the teal 14s are not available, so like I don't see any here. I should refresh until I see a 14 so I can describe well, let me show what a 14, they're very, anyways, you need to farm tons of them, right?
Right.
And the pieces that we're talking about are like this right here, the pathogens, this piece right here is a teal 14. You can see these are teal, that's a teal 14. That's a teal 14. They're just not available anywhere other than buying them in one of two places, right? Which is the
war store and the gold store.
Yeah, the war store and the gold store. So like if you're not deliberately buying the teal 14s or the teal uniques, you're not going to get into Dark Dimension 5. Would you say that's a fair, the way the game is set up right now?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I mean, it was early on. Those are unavailable. You have to be buying those. They were sometimes they were in some of the events, but they weren't in the most recent one with Icarus.
Yeah, so keep that in mind. They're just not. It's not going to happen naturally without being very deliberate about what you buy here. Now, let's talk about the first node right there that you're planning right now is the city. You're going to take in. You're thinking about now. This is going to change too, depending on new characters that come out, right? So, why don't we talk about that first? So we have a tentative plans, and your plans are a little different than mine, but it doesn't really matter. All of that might change depending on these new characters that come out right now. But go ahead and just talk about. We can only talk about what we know today. Tell me why you've got Symbiote Spider-Man, Dagger, Cloak, Shang-Chi, and Spider-Man.
Yeah, so what I did was I looked at specifically the G16 unique pieces like the Carbonadium and Alien Spores, and I tried not to double up on it in the first section. So the base and the city. I knew that I overloaded for Mystic, but I knew Mystic felt more important than anything. So I've been buying those with higher frequency, and I've actually gotten luckier with those. But the idea behind it is I really want to make sure I build my city team first, so I'm not just waiting for characters.
Okay, so how long do you think it's going to take you to get through the first 3 nodes?
I mean, literally, once you build this team, I have a feeling it's probably going to be 3 to 4 days.
Okay, because I'm hoping it takes longer.
Well, I mean, it depends. I mean, I'm a tryhard. I'll reset the node quite a few times and try to get a really good run.
Right.
Because I kind of want to maximize the effort and make sure that I'm not like refreshing the nodes. But I don't think you need to even worry about refreshing them, because I think it's restrictive enough that even if you like make it through in like a month, that may be how long it takes to get to the next section to have it all ready to go.
So what we're talking about is the very first 3 nodes. You can use any characters that you have ready to go, but then starting with node 4, it's only going to allow you with city. So what I was asking him is, how long is it going to take you to get through these first 3? Because if it takes a month, then it gives me times to get like alien spores, because I chose a different path with double down on alien spores, right? Where I've got symbiote Spider-Man, Anti-Venom, Cloak, Dagger, and Shang-Chi. So I'm gonna run into a problem with these 2 right here, both requiring alien spores, and we're gonna find out who's right on this. Probably you're gonna be right, but it's just a different approach, right?
And the idea behind it is it's what's limiting you. I mean, if you've been buying alien spores at higher rates, or you've gotten lucky with some drops out of there, it's going to change. Everybody's a little bit different. I think the main focus, though,
but
is
why Spider-Man? Why Spider-Man? The rework on him didn't look that great, in my opinion. He got stat boosts.
So that was before the whole rework, and so the reason why I have him in there is kind of a placeholder as somebody who uses the Oz formula. So it's either, so that's really why I used it, is because I think that maybe the spiders that get released might use the Oz formula. So it was really because I wanted a bio character who wasn't restricting anything else.
Yeah, and I gotta say that seems very solid, because we don't know the minis, the unique pieces, the 13 pieces on Spider-Gwen, Ghost Spider, and then we don't know anything about the other 2 potentially. We don't even know if there's 2. We think there's 2, but there could be 1 or 2. But we don't know what they take and whether or not they're going to be DD5 raid viable. And if they are, that's going to change that. And I think the Oz is probably a pretty good prediction. Let's go to global. What are you going to do in global?
So global seems pretty easy. I mean, one of the things about Captain America Sam is that he doesn't take TBCs. So he doesn't, he's only going to be, bound by the skill unique. So he doesn't consume TBCs. He's probably the highest ranked Vibranium character. So no brainer there. Him combined with Maria Hill and maybe some other characters seem to be the best option. The immunity, the passive healing that can happen with the deflects. I looked at Emma for myself because she's part of the arena meta now, and she may be long term for mirror matches. The way that it's shaping up to be, getting an extra speed, especially giving your Eternals the edge, and then it was kind of like,
I'm changing my mind on Sharon Carter to Emma right now just by you saying that. You know what I mean? It's just like you like. Well, look how much that bounced off my curve too. My curve was kind of whacked out, and by making that one little switch right there, it balanced my curve a lot.
Yeah, and it might, we're still like, and it's ironic because it felt like Bio was the G14 / DD4 solution, and it looks like we all have a really good choice to bring at this point in time, because they're just not a lot of great choices because of the fact that there's some characters that double down on the G16 unique. So you can see Emma. Dr. Doom's a no-brainer. Dr. Doom is probably the staple of your tech raids for a while, and unless somehow a team shows up and makes Dr. Doom obsolete, I think that he's probably going to be good. So that creates a miasma problem, but that's one of the things I liked about the Thanos Giving event, was they gave us kind of an influx of miasma, so that we got a little extra to kind of balance out what we would need to kind of get through there.
Right. So I'm trying to figure out why it's not feeding my Shuri right there. But anyways, I'll come back to that later. All right, so I think that's excellent, because there's really no mutants until the very end, where they're stacked in the legendaries for sure. Let's talk about Cosmic.
Yeah, so Cosmic, I mean, I want to bring Icarus and Cersei. I'm still questioning if that's going to be the right choice. I will say that looking at some of the folks like Tadano had a really good Cosmic choice, but that means, and again, I'm using them in arena. I'm using them in raids. They're exceptionally good. I think that's a big difference, and I think that's a problem.
Yeah, a lot of them were using Phyla. Why'd you use Gamora over Phyla or even Moondragon?
So Gamora was because of the fact that she hits hard, she takes death proofs, but more importantly, she's doing something that not a lot of other characters do, and use Prometheum. And so she's the only character that was in the game of value that was using the Prometheum. So I just was balancing it out, and she was a skill character and let me kind of balance it out.
Okay, I must have deleted that node or something like that. Well, I hope it's loading correctly. All right, let's go back, and then next let's talk about Legendary, Omega Red, Doc Ock, Black Bolt, Phoenix, Jubilee. You're using Black Bolt because he fills up the bio slot, and then it's heavily weighted for Mutant,
I'm
right?
using, I'm using Black Bolt because there's a chance with the fact that, you know, if Dormammu comes to the arena, Black Bolt just starts leading him. Plus, I watched, you know, when I watched Sedano do the last node with the Doom bots that were doing the ult ability, like he was deleting them really quickly. So Black Bolt was kind of the hero of that.
Okay.
Because he was just popping those dooms really quickly. So if you have a chance to take a look at that video, it'll give you some insight.
Okay, so the moral of this video is that, yes, things could change. You're going to have to plan. And I'm personally going to take in characters that I like and prefer that I use today over characters that are efficient and cheap. I just don't want to take the cheap characters in. But got to farm those 14s, those teal 14s, or there's teal minis. They're not available anywhere. And if you're going to take a lot of characters that have miasma, you got to pull the miasma. If you're going to take a lot of symbiotes, you're going to have to pull a lot of alien spores, right? I mean, that is the point. You have to be very deliberate about this. I'm going to say load up either one of these programs, either the spreadsheet, go through your inventory and load up and see where you're really short, or do the MSF.gg. Some people use Mantis, which helps a little bit with inventory, and then at least find out where you have extreme deficiencies, and then also know your curve, because the bottleneck on this really, well, there's there's several bottlenecks on this, right?
Mm-hmm. They definitely created a huge
three.
problem.
Yeah, the bottlenecks are not only the unique 16s, which are basically the 14s, the teal 14s. Then you've also got the teal 13s, and then you've also got the catalyst. So it seems like other than the origin pieces, there's bottlenecks everywhere in this.
Yeah, it's going to be basically, you're going to try to even it out as much as possible. So, and the thing about it is it's just time. And so, and to be clear, the longer you spend going through this, the more likely there are going to be characters that'll outperform what we've already chosen. So, you know, there is a price to pay for being early. And so that's the concern I have when you look at some other folks' roster, like the people that like already beat it. Those aren't always the best choices. So be very careful when you're looking at that, as we can remember from, you know, some of the choices that were made during the race portion of Dark Dimension 4.
Yeah, no, you definitely, like, I still don't want to do Sabretooth, you know what I mean? I know some people did, but it's like, I'd rather have characters I know I'm going to use. That's why I'm kind of stuck on this Icarus, Cersei, and Cosmic. It's like, I know I'm going to use them. And then when you said, you know, taking out, you know, Sharon and putting in Emma, you know what I mean? I was like, oh, that makes a lot of sense to me. I would really like this MSF.gg one a lot better if it would just show the curve. If it just had this simple curve right here, you know, showing where you're loaded up on the bio, mutant, mystic, skill, tech. I mean, it does have that to a certain degree. You can kind of do it right here, and it also gives you the totals right here. You can see how many of the minis it requires, like 72, 54, 18, and then you can see what the pieces are. But it just, I think visually it looks a little bit better right here. All right, so be sure to head over to Random's channel. You made a video about this about a week ago that I think is a little bit better than this one. And then, of course, in the description, a link to all of these sheets will be there. All right, guys, anything you want to say before we go?
No, just have fun. I mean, it's okay to have fun playing Marvel Strike Force.
Yeah. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Keep on gaming.